Cows and livestock are major contributors to carbon emissions, but now some scientists are saying not so fast and arguing cows, in fact, can actually be part of the solution.
According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, livestock farming accounts for more than 14% of man-made emissions. Researchers, however, say if farmers change the way their cows graze, it could make a drastic difference. CNN's chief climate correspondent Bill Weir is here. And Bill, what needs to happen?
Well, these guys would say farmers need to fall back in love with Mother Nature and be closer to her than their fertilizer salesmen. This is basically a style of farming that was common across humanity up until World War II, but it's really about letting nature do the work and taking influence from some very powerful models. In the beginning was the buffalo. Tens of millions of them wandering the land, munching wild grasses, and using poop and hooves to create rich, fertile soil up to 15 feet deep. Look at this. Yeah. But since Americans replaced buffalo with cows, generations of fertilizers and pesticides, tilling and overgrazing have turned much of that nutrient-rich soil into lifeless dirt. But not on farms, where they graze cows just like wild buffalo.
Well, so adaptive multi-paddock grazing, AMP grazing, is a way that mimics the way bison have moved across the Great Plains. And so it's really about the animals hit an area really hard and then they leave it for a long time.
Peter Byck is a professor at Arizona State University, and he believes that if enough beef and dairy operations copy this simple hack, cattle could actually become an ally in the fight against climate change.
I anticipate we'll get a lot of pushback because people are not thinking that cows can be a part of the solution.
Not only are you going against the grain of environmentalists who think meat is evil for lots of reasons, you took money from McDonald's for this.
Yeah, I asked for money from McDonald's for this. I wanted to go to big companies because if they don't change, we don't get there.
For his docu-series, Roots So Deep You Can See the Devil Down There, Byck assembled a team of scientists.
We're really interested in insects that live in poop.
Experts in bugs and birds. Yes, bobwhite. Cows, soils, and carbon. They spent years comparing 5 sets of neighboring farms in the southeast. On one side, traditional grazers who let cows roam one big field for months at a time and often cut fertilized grass for hay.
Woo! Come on!
On the other side, AMP grazers who never mow or fertilize.
You open a gate, they go through, it takes 5 minutes, Cooper will roll up a wire.
And with a single line of electrical fence, move their cows from one patch of high grass to the next.
And that's building fence. This is how easy it is, Peter.
While their science is yet to be published and peer-reviewed, Byck says early data has found AMP farms pulling down up to 4 times the carbon, while holding 25% more microbes, 3 times the bird life, and twice as much rain per hour.
If it's a 1,000-acre farm, it's 54 million gallons of water. That's now washing your soil away versus soaking into your land.
Wow! Look at this grass!
But this is also a human experiment to see whether data and respectful discussion can change hearts and minds.
This was grazed about 40 days ago, and this hadn't been fertilized in 12 years.
Awesome.
And when we got out of spending money on fertilizer, it was huge, huge. And I didn't think it would ever happen.
It is such a stress relief. We just don't worry about a lot of it anymore.
And then you don't even fertilize when you plant your ryegrass.
Nothing. It sounds crazy, but just letting Mother Nature do the work.
Would it be an interesting thing if you didn't have to pay for fertilizer?
Would that be wonderful?
Curtis Spangler is one of the conventional farmers in Roots So Deep, and he says his mind was changed when he realized he now has a way to double his herd and quit his second off-farm job.
And right now, we're having to dump thousands of dollars into nitrogen every year that really, if we just change a couple things, we might be able to save that money to put it toward other resources.
Is that something you're committed to doing now as a result of this project?
We're really looking and seeing the benefits of it and how we can work it.
So as we hit the height of grilling season, a little food for thought.
There is ways to produce meat that is not good for the planet. and there's ways to produce meat that's really good for the planet. And that's the nuance that's been missing.
My little boy has a farm puzzle, you know, with the one pig and the one cow and the one chicken in this idyllic scene. And we don't realize that that is so far from what we have now. It's either big farms that are massive or they go out of business.
Or we do, but we've embraced mass production, right? I
Exactly.
mean, does this affect kind of our ability to kind of provide the nation agriculturally?
They would say it absolutely does, that grass could replace feedlots if, as a disruptor, a cheaper alternative. But going against these ideas is a massive big ag industry, fertilizers, big machinery, all of that, because all of the solutions are natural.
Do they have a plan to scale?
Well, this is early. This is just like, let's see if we can convince farmers across the fence to talk to each other. And that's what's so heartwarming about this series. You've got, two of the pairs actually are two founding members of the country band Alabama. Randy Owen is a traditional grazer. Teddy Gentry's been an amp farmer his whole life, and they don't talk to each other about it. You know, these are proud folks who work the land and don't really discuss but this is really an interesting look at breaking common ground. Could be a solution for everybody. Healthier cows, land, birds, people, farmers, bottom lines.
I love learning about the culture of this. Bill Weir, thank you.
My pleasure.